In the quiet heartland of America, nestled amidst the rolling fields of Iowa, lies a town called Villisca. For most of its history, it was like any other small community, tranquil and unassuming. But on a sweltering summer night in 1912, that peace was shattered by an act of unimaginable brutality. 8 people, including 6 children, were murdered in their sleep, bludgeoned by an axe. The crime sent shockwaves across the nation, not just for its horrific nature, but because it remains, to this day, unsolved. This is the story of the Villisca Axe Murders, and the house that never forgot. The victims were the prominent Moore family, Josiah and Sarah, their children Herman, Catherine, Boyd, and Paul. Adding to the tragedy, 2 young guests, Lena and Ina Stillinger, sisters who had spent the night, were also among the deceased. Josiah Moore was a well-respected businessman, known for his success in the hardware store and his community involvement. They were, by all accounts, a typical, loving American family enjoying a simple life, completely unaware of the darkness that awaited them after attending a Children's Day program at the local church. The morning of June 10 brought the first unsettling signs. Mary Peckham, a neighbor, grew concerned when the Moore family hadn't started their morning chores. Calls went unanswered. Around 7 a.m., Josiah's brother, Ross Moore, was alerted. With a key he obtained, he cautiously entered the house. What he found inside would forever haunt him and plunge Villisca into an abyss of fear. The discovery was unspeakable. All 8 occupants were dead, each having met a violent end, still in their beds. The silence that followed was deafening, a prelude to the town's enduring nightmare. The scene inside the Moore house was meticulously gruesome and puzzling. All victims had been brutally bludgeoned with an axe, believed to be the one from the Moore's own barn. Faces were covered with bedclothes, sheets, or clothing. Every window shade in the house was drawn. Mirrors were draped with cloths, and a plate of uneaten food sat on the kitchen table. Most unnerving of all, there was no sign of forced entry. The perpetrator had entered and exited without breaking a lock, suggesting either an inside connection or an unnervingly cunning killer who knew the ways of the household. In 1912, forensic science was rudimentary, and small-town law enforcement was ill-equipped for a crime of this magnitude. The crime scene was quickly compromised by curious onlookers and investigators who lacked modern protocols. Early theories ranged from a disgruntled employee to a personal vendetta, but concrete evidence was scarce. Local authorities were overwhelmed, and the state stepped in, but even their efforts were hampered by the chaotic initial response. The public, desperate for answers, found themselves with nothing but speculation and growing fear. One of the earliest and most enduring suspects was Iowa State Senator Frank F. Jones. Josiah Moore had worked for Jones before starting his own successful hardware business, reportedly taking some of Jones's customers with him. A business rivalry, escalating tensions, and even alleged infidelity between Jones's daughter and Moore were whispered as potential motives. Despite intense scrutiny and 2 grand juries investigating him, Jones was never formally charged with the murders. The evidence against him remained circumstantial, leaving many to wonder if justice was simply out of reach. Years after the murders, another chilling suspect emerged, Reverend George Kelly, an eccentric itinerant preacher. Kelly had been in Villisca on the night of the murders and had reportedly confessed to the crime in detail to a detective. He described seeing visions and hearing voices commanding him to slay the family. However, Kelly later recanted his confession, claiming it was coerced. His unstable mental state made his testimony unreliable, and despite 2 trials where he was defended by a formidable legal team, he was ultimately acquitted due to lack of corroborating evidence. The truth remained elusive. Beyond Jones and Kelly, numerous other theories circulated. Was it a serial killer, possibly connected to similar axe murders in nearby states, following the railroad lines? Was it a drifter, an unknown transient who disappeared as quickly as he arrived? Or perhaps a deeply personal vendetta, known only to the killer and their victims? Without the benefit of modern forensics and with the initial scene compromised, investigators struggled to sift through the myriad possibilities. The town, and eventually the nation, was left with an unbearable weight, a crime of such profound horror, yet with no clear answer or culprit ever brought to justice. Today, the house at 508 East 2nd Street stands not as a monument to terror, but as a chilling historical site. Purchased by new owners in 1994, it has been meticulously restored to its 1912 condition and opened to the public for tours and overnight stays. It has become a pilgrimage site for paranormal investigators and enthusiasts, who report strange occurrences, disembodied voices, and objects moving on their own. The house, some believe, is a portal to the past, a place where the tragedy of that summer night continues to echo, a permanent imprint on its very fabric. The Villisca Axe Murders remain one of America's most enduring cold cases. Over a century has passed, yet the questions persist, the debates continue, and the memory of that fateful night lingers. The house, now preserved, stands as a silent sentinel, a chilling reminder of the 8 lives brutally taken. It is a house that, through its preserved history and rumored hauntings, quite literally never forgot. It compels us to confront the dark side of human nature and the unsettling reality that some mysteries, despite our best efforts, may simply be destined to remain unsolved.